Well, just again, how he goes about his work. Number one is something that I really respect, and I think all of our entire building respects. Number two, just the type of receiver he is, big body, great body control, tremendous speed down the field, but great body control to transition out of those breaks. And so again, he's one of the top receivers in this league, and we don't want that just walking out of the building. And so when you get an opportunity to whatever it is, put a tag on him and keep him in the building and let him play at least another season for us, I think that's critical.
I think after the season, I don't remember which week, but I saw a tweet that Lab had said that he had heard that you were maybe considering giving up play calling. Was that accurate? Were you ever considering that?
No, I like the process we have going right now, and now it's a new challenge. You know, Dan stepping into that and Brad moving in the quarterback role. It's going to be good. It's going to challenge us. It's going to be a little bit different, but those guys are prepared, and specifically Dan. Dan's been ready for this for a long time now, and really turned down a lot of interviews last year to stay here, not knowing if Brian would still be in the building or not, and then had a lot of opportunities this year, and so we were able. The timing really was perfect that Brian got the first job available before Dan could go get in the airplane and go some of these spots, and so we're fortunate. I can't wait to see what he can bring to the table for us.
What have the last few weeks been like from you, differing from the last few off seasons?
Well, feel like it's slowed. We had more coaching hires than previous, and so that ate up probably 2 weeks of just being in those interviews and making sure we made the right hires, different than years past. So that ate up a little bit of the time. Otherwise, just finally getting to sit in the draft meetings and hear maybe an extra week of draft prep from the scouts that they do anyway. I just don't always get to sit in at this point in the year. Usually I'm catching up when we get to the combine. So I personally feel a little bit better prepared, and I know our position coaches have watched a lot more guys than they would have at this point. So you're just a couple weeks ahead on that process, and that's a good thing for us right now.
When you look at a potential defensive lineman or like a nose tackle, D tackle that could fit in your spot defensively, what are some good traits that y'all are looking for an interior defensive lineman right now?
Guys that are consistent, and so again, you can see that from the guys that we have in our building. That's, I think, what's carried us, especially from our defensive linemen, is the consistency. You know what you're going to get down in and down out in every single game from our guys. And so, those are always things we're looking to add. If we're in the draft, it's guys that can fit right in with the guys that have been here and done that, and the way that they're going to lead these young guys. And so I think that's critical that we find consistency at that position behind the key guys that we already have.
Do you think Chase Brown can make a big step forward this coming season?
Certainly. I don't think he got much opportunity last year. It's early in the season. We wanted to make sure we had guys out there that understood our protections, and that's not to say Chase was doing a poor job. It's just we were playing Cleveland and Baltimore right out the gate, and so the rookie didn't get his opportunity early. Right before we were about to give him a really big role, he pulled his hamstring in practice and missed 4 or 5 weeks. And then the second he came back, we integrated him right back in there, and he did some good things for us. So I certainly think a whole season's worth of that is going to be exciting to watch. You talk about a consistent approach. Chase Brown has done that. It's you see him in there every day doing extra stuff, and so he'll prepare himself for the opportunities he can get. And I'm really excited to watch what Chase's career is going to be like for us.
What's the ideal running game for this offense? Like your vision of it, of what it should and hopefully will be?
Yeah, I think what we've always done, really is find a way to blend it with our passes and what works for us week to week. And we have a lot of things in our run game that we can pull from. Sometimes we pare it down. We have a very limited menu. Sometimes we have an expansive menu. And so, again, we just find as we go through training camp what fits us best right now. We always have an idea coming out of the off season. We let it evolve, and I'm excited to see it work next season for us.
How important has Joe Mixon been to kind of what you've been able? He's one of the few guys who's still been here from when you got here.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you describe his time with you and in this offense over the last 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, he's always played a big role for us, and been a durable guy for us, been a physical runner for us, always been available. And so, again, you're right. He's one of those guys. It's early in this last season. It was him, Sam Hubbard, Josh Tupou, and Tyler Boyd were the last 4, from when I walked in the building. And so, again, it's I always look at Joe Mixon very fondly and appreciate everything that he does for us.
You added a passing game coordinator, which is a new title for someone on your staff. What was your reasoning behind wanting to add that?
Well, it wasn't set in stone that we were going to do it if we didn't find the right person. And we interviewed a lot of people for OC, a lot of people for quarterback, and all the while we're thinking we're also could add this role as well if somebody in those interviews fits that. and Justin just knocked it out of the park and was really impressive. Came from a system that's extremely similar to ours. It's the Rams offense in Minnesota, and still a lot of the same terminology, things I'd forgotten that we'd done years ago in LA, and so it brings a fresh perspective to us. We'll continue to integrate that role in with the other coaches, and it'll evolve over the course of the year, but the most important thing is finding the right person. It's not just a really smart person that can bring new ideas. It's the right person that comes in the building, and we've taken a lot of pride in adding good people that fit with our staff, and Justin's another guy in a long line of those guys that I think is going to bring a lot of positive thoughts and energy and everything. Is going to fit right in with our coaching staff.
How critical, Zach, is it, given where you're picking in the draft, that especially the first round pick comes in and contributes right away?
Well, you always hopeful that people you take early on can have a big presence for you early, but at the same time, it's got to be at their own pace. It depends on what position they're at. Some of them can hit the ground running a little faster than others, and so I'm not going to put that expectation on a guy. It's obvious when you take someone in the first round, you have high hopes for them, but again, it depends on what the position is, what the depth is at that position that we have, and again, it's. Don't read anything into what I'm saying, because it's who knows who we're taking in the first round right now at 18, and we're just getting into that process. But we have high expectations for the guys that we draft.
The tight ends that you have had that have been successful here previously, what are some things that they all have in common that maybe make them good fits, or what y'all want to do schematically?
James Casey. He gets the most out of every guy that walks in that room, and they would all say that to you. Guys who have been here and left, guys who are here now. I think that the consistency that he brings to the table, he gets the best out of every single person. They love playing for him, but it's just we got guys that also have the right mentality. We haven't brought in bad guys that are hard to deal with and been a pain in the butt for James, and so these guys are all willing to learn. They see the opportunity they have in front of them. We give these guys a lot of opportunity. Every single tight end that we've had in there gets to play a role for us, and that role can expand or shrink based on what's going on, and a lot of guys have used that opportunity to expand their role as time has gone on. And again, that's a credit to those players, and I do think it's a credit to James as well.
In terms of their physical, in terms of what they bring on the field, in terms of what they bring offensively, especially as a play caller, there's certain traits that you like physically?
Well, again, you want a tight end that can stretch the field vertically, has great hands, can block at the point of attack in the run game, and can pass protect for you. Okay. That's a first pick, okay? And so you're looking for all those traits, and sometimes a guy's got all three, sometimes a guy's got two, sometimes you got to piece it together with some other guys. That's just tight end rooms in general, and so we're always looking for the room that can do all those jobs, and it's our job to cover up tendencies and give guys opportunities and build it from there. But there's really just tight end traits you want, and then you got to piece it together with the 3 or 4 guys you're going to have in that room.
What about Tee Higgins? Some guys react differently to a franchise tag than others.
Yeah.
Can you shed some light just on what those conversations have been like with him?
Well, our conversation was brief just when I let him know that. Again, we take a lot of value in the relationship that we have with T for moments like this, because it is the business side. I understand it can be frustrating. T has not given me any of that, and so again, we're just excited to attack this offseason and see where it goes from there, but expect huge things from T next year. He's going to be a big part of the success that we have. He knows that, we know that, and so I'm just excited to get to the season and see what he can do for us.
Jamar said in an interview at Radio Row at the Super Bowl, he was asked about moving into the slot more, and he said that was some place that he didn't feel like he had really ventured into a lot. Do you, with Tyler Boyd maybe not being back next year, do you envision moving Jamar more into the slot?
I think we're always looking for the best way to use Jamar, and whether that's outside on the left, the right, the slot, number 2 in the slot, 3 in the slot, backfield. Getting Jamar Chase the ball is good for all of our health, and so we are doing everything we can to find the right spot for him game by game and give him those opportunities. And I think if you look at that Arizona game when he had all those touches, he was everywhere, and so we'll continue to always assess that. And some games are easier than others, and sometimes I've been pretty straightforward with him on that going into a game week. Like, this is going to be a week where it's going to be challenging, and we're going to do our best to get you going early. And so again, he's a guy I love hearing him talk, because he's earned the right to say whatever the heck he wants to say, and I'd always like that about Jamar. And so again, I'm looking forward to getting him back in the building and getting to work for this next season.
He referenced trust as a reason why maybe he doesn't get in the slot. Is that different than an outside receiver, like trust with your quarterback? I mean, I would imagine you have to have trust with your quarterback
Yeah,
anywhere, but is
it
the
is.
slot different?
Yeah, let me say this. there's no lack of trust with us and Jamar Chase. Okay, I trust Jamar to make any play that comes his way, and we'll always assess the opportunities that we give to him. It is different playing inside than outside, and it's just there's some time on task things. Jamar's one of those freaks that just makes it work, and but there are different things you got to see with the defense, coverage-wise, zones you got to hit, when the ball is going to come out. Certainly, it is on you a little faster because of the distance from the quarterback as compared to outside. There's more guys you have to count for as aside just the corner or the safety that's out there with you. So there are differences, all things that Jamar has handled very well when we give him those opportunities, and we got full confidence he can do that.
Obviously, Charlie Jones played.
I'll hit you in a second, Jay.
Obviously, Charlie Jones played a lot of outside wide receiver at Purdue. Did you think he came along in the slot as the year went on and got more comfortable there?
He didn't get a ton of opportunity because of just the roles. A lot of different guys played for us, and Trenton Irwin has earned our trust as well. And so I think that Charlie has continued to improve. I'm really excited to see Charlie in year 2. He's got 1 year of the system under his belt. He gets a chance to really look at it all offseason, gave him things to really focus on this offseason so that when he comes back in May, he's ready to roll and play to his full speed. And so, again, I think the sky's the limit for Charlie. He's got great speed, great quickness. I'm excited to watch him have a great 2024.
You guys reevaluating Dax, where he might best fit you in the secondary? You kind of reevaluate.
I think that's something that we do with all of our players defensively is how do we put them in the best position possible. Dax is a guy that when we drafted, he's got a unique skill set, and that he played a lot of nickel. He's played corner. We project him as a safety as well for us. And so, again, we'll continue to assess all those roles as we go through the offseason.
Just one thing with Jamar. Would it be harder to take him out of the game in the slot? I mean, is it harder to take a guy out of the game in the slot philosophically? I mean,
sure. You can say, I mean, if people are going to double you, they're going to double you, no matter where you are. And they've got their rules they follow, and certainly teams we played have their rules against us that they follow. The thing about when you are playing outside and it's single safety, he's got to cheat further to you. And when you have Tee Higgins on the other side, that's a price you got to pay sometimes when you're willing to do that. So there's give and take on our side and on their side on the decisions that are made there.
Obviously, it's a deep offensive tackle class, at least at the top of the draft. What are you looking for out of these guys, out of this class this week to learn from them?
Just getting to know them. The guys that we get to interview, just learn a little bit more about them, just like any position. I don't think me personally, I don't look at one position different than the other that you're trying to gain this week. We're just trying to gather all the information. This is an information gathering week for everybody. And then we'll drill down. Duke does a great job. He's always got his plan that we follow, that we feel like we're prepared on draft day. And that includes the pro days in March. That includes all the draft meetings we have in April. And then we always feel like we're ready to go on draft day.
Is there measurables in some of the guys that you've looked at or liked in previous drafts, or guys you liked in free agency that on the offensive line that you've seen that are maybe have in common, or certain traits that they have physically that maybe make them
good, tough physical players, man. I mean, everybody could draw up the ideal offensive lineman, I think, with the length and the size and all that stuff. But at the same time, we want guys that fit into our room and fit into our system. And so, again, we'll continue to make those decisions as we get closer to the draft.
Is there a minimum length requirement you guys need, especially at tackle?
Those are things we talk about internally, but I certainly would never say it publicly. And then all of a sudden you take one that's outside that requirement, and now you put your foot in your mouth.
Apologize in advance for the amount of times me and probably all of us will ask you, but can you just give us an update on Joe's wrist, his progress in his rehab, and do you anticipate him being able to throw it all in the offseason?
Everything has been positive. Everything has been positive. Everything has been on schedule. I think what I said up there on the podium was 6 years as a head coach. I've learned to not put timelines on these injuries. So we're certainly encouraged. Everything has been positive. He's right on course and excited to get closer to the offseason. So we have a better sense of exactly all the involvement that he's going to have day one of the offseason. But he's done everything we've asked him to do post-surgery, and he's doing everything he can to prepare himself for the offseason program.
Your reaction to seeing him dap up LeBron James and Jamar Chase?
No, I saw the video. No, I don't have much reaction other than good for them. What a life. They've earned it.
Zach, during all these interviews, do you stay neutral, or is there a point where you are talking to a guy face-to-face and then you're like, okay, this guy would fit within our locker room, within our system?
Yeah, we're all in a room, and so usually we let the scouts direct that and the position coach direct that. But, you got 15 minutes and try to get all the questions in you can.
Do you think Joe could throw the first day of training camp, or is that a timeline?
I mean, that sounds like a timeline question to me.
So you're not going down the many weeks road?
Yeah, I nailed that one, by the way. That was great.
How have you seen him? You've got to be around him for so long now.
Well, man, he's just been the same, and really, I think he has a process that works for him, that's always worked for him. I'm sure if you ask him, there's probably some things that evolved with that process over time, I'm sure, that I'm not privy to, but he's been the same guy day one, I think, in the meeting rooms to now, and I think he knows what I need to hear, and so he does a great job of there's really not a line he could cross because he knows everything's available to him. But I just try to make sure that we always have that dialogue and communication, and what's important is what he thinks on the field and is comfortable with, and I want to think like him as best as I possibly can, and so I always ask a lot of questions that direct me to those results and answers, and he's always given me the information I need every time I ever ask anything of him.